Are you looking for a good explanation for why XRP is poised to surpass its previous peak in enterprise discovery? This is the offer. History demonstrates one thing each time XRP has found itself in a similar situation. It rises. Not just a bit, either. Large movements. Let me clarify. Doesn't history have a humorous way of repeating itself? Unless, of course, you're a die-hard doomsday bear who believes we're about to plunge into an endless bear market. Okay, if that's you. If you're wrong, the numbers are going to skyrocket, but XRP will probably follow the general market patterns. Are you sick of phony gurus who pretend to be knowledgeable traders but never engage in live trading? I trade live on the second biggest cryptocurrency exchange, where results are unfake and everything is clear. I have continuously closed each month in profit for more than 440 days. With just 4% drawdown, my followers have made over $34,000 in gains in the previous 90 days alone. Results that have been confirmed, not unfounded assertions. Do you wish to view my confirmed statistics? Start duplicating my trades for free right now by clicking the first link in my profile. And shortly, but here's the thing, I'm not placing a negative wager. The upside is what I'm betting on. I don't think XRP's tale is finished. Indeed, there are tangible indications that things are changing, gaining traction. I don't think we've seen anything yet, so fasten your seatbelt. You're going to want to hear this, so hold on. It's thrilling. There's a noticeable improvement in the state of affairs. You've probably already made some significant progress if you've been in business for even a year. Let's now discuss the transition that is now occurring. Of course, everything is relative, but we've noticed some improvement in the last several weeks. There are local bottoms, and markets don't remain stagnant indefinitely. We're so near, in fact, that we may have just hit one. I don't believe it will make a difference in the long run, even if prices continue to decline. I firmly think that XRP has enormous upside potential going forward. Let me clarify, though, before you get too excited. I'm not an expert in finance. This isn't advice on finances. Never make a purchase or sale based only on my words or writings. Always do your research. Okay, let's start reading chart analyst Mustache's piece. Even though XRP is the primary topic of discussion today, I want to start with a more general viewpoint. Why? Because it's important to find convergence. Doesn't it just make sense? Now, if this area seems a little daunting to you, don't worry. Stay with me. You'll understand. In actuality, markets move in tandem. As the saying goes, it's like a rippling effect. Large-scale patterns, yes, they do play a significant role and are quite genuine. And guess what happens when the market as a whole begins to recover? That is fantastic news for XRP. The thing is this, sincerely, I think XRP will do better than the majority of other coins, particularly in the large and mid-cap sectors. The US government and the SEC's antics have prevented it from happening for years. However, XRP is currently making a resurgence. True enough, it's regaining its prominence. In light of that, let's examine the overall market capitalization of cryptocurrencies, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Thus, we arrive at the total 3 chart. Yes, it is the chart's name. Mustache wants to express some ideas. He claims that the speed at which sentiment changes is astounding. All I've heard lately is talk of relief rallies or bearish retests. However, do you know what a V reversal is? That is a classic move in the bull market. The next step might be even more shrewd if he's correct. In all honesty, that's how cryptocurrency works. Before everything changes in an instant, it can seem like nothing but darkness and despair. All of a sudden, the market soars and sentiment changes. That's the cadence of cryptocurrency. It's not predictable. It's crazy. However, it actually moves when it does. Look at what he's pointing out now. Do you see the mouse? That's right. See how it reminds you of a scene from years ago? History rhymes even though it doesn't repeat itself. I understand that some individuals were anxious at the time, It's amazing how markets can manipulate your feelings and drag you into a maelstrom of uncertainty. You begin to experience every emotion, but then it suddenly spikes up. We're still waiting on that phase of the cycle, and to be honest, I think it will arrive soon. Check out this chart by chart analyst Crypto Wizard showing XRP versus USD. Isn't it beautiful? He says. It's taking place once more. After breaking through a multi-year resistance in 2017, XRP never looked back. Right now, the similar pattern is developing. Those who remain patient will experience a new all-time high. This viewpoint continues coming up with analyst after analyst reiterating it. Everyone I trust and those I follow appear to concur. When you listen to what they have to say, it's difficult not to feel thrilled. I was already following almost all of them before it happened, and it turns out that everyone who predicted that XRP would break to the upside was right on the money. They were spot on. This is when things get wild. There isn't a single expert that I can think of that foresaw the breakout and is now reversing course and saying, well, that's the peak. They're all pointing up and remaining steadfast. How high this thing goes is now the only point of contention. $5, $10, $20, and $30. The argument starts at that point. But one thing is certain, everyone is talking about XRP's trajectory. However, it is indeed taking place. It's strange how history repeats itself, or at least rhyming, and there are several indications that XRP is exhibiting that. Therefore, it's important to pay notice when a chart analyst like Crypto Wizard shares something similar with his 108,300 followers. Breaking resistance that has lasted for years is no easy task. XRP accomplished the same thing in 2017, albeit with far less historical data to work with. Analysts were unable to rely on in-depth knowledge of its possible course. As of right now, we have live price data going back almost 12 years. An indispensable tool for unraveling the future of XRP. The story feels different this time. Similar sentiments have been echoed by Crypto Insight UK as well. I'll make this brief since, although I touched on it in my previous video, it's too pertinent to ignore here. Examine the XRP USD chart that is displayed on your screen. It's proof of the rising sentiment among the leading analysts I follow. This is the main lesson learned. Only once in its existence has XRP broken and remained above multi-year resistance. That explains why so many people are buzzing at the moment. The charts present a strong argument, and if history is indeed a rhyme, we may be in for a major surprise. XRP was one of the market's most notable performers in 2017. Whatever you say, anyone who argues otherwise is probably allowing their prejudice to distort the truth. This is a personal viewpoint. It is simply the facts. Therefore, unless they have a long-standing animosity toward XRP, you won't hear reliable voices saying otherwise. Furthermore, if someone wishes to constantly criticize it for no apparent reason, then so be it. But no, you won't notice it past that level of noise. Let's now discuss the true reason I raised this. Thanks to Dom, an XRP chart analyst at TraderView2 on XE, it all boils down to perspective. Dom has a stellar record, and he did indeed execute the most recent breakout flawlessly. His method? A thorough knowledge of history, sound chart analysis, and pure common sense. He's made a clear and logical inference about what's likely to happen next based on the data. And you know what? The solution is